and welcome back to part 2, the second part, the finale, some would say, of our game of the celebration. Our celebration of the year.
That's better.
Okay.
That one's better.
Our 2022 of the celebration of the game, of the year of the game.
That's right. Very positive.
2022, year of the game.
The year of the game. It's been called. Brad Shoemaker, Alex Navarro. We have had a whirlwind of a time here in part 1, making our way through a bunch of categories, some personal funsies categories. We had best storytelling, best look, best game we came back to. But now we are up to best or most Insidious time sink. Let's take a look at it.
Most best.
Best, most best. Most Insidious time sink. Now remember, if you're watching, listening, or doing whatever you do with these podcasts. Okay.
What else would you do with them?
I don't know.
Oh, buddy, I can tell you about some things you could do with a podcast.
We ran through...
If you auto-transcribe these podcasts and print them out and wipe your... I mean, never mind.
Yeah.
There's we ran through a bunch of stuff. We're not going to go through it all again in part 1, but there might be spoilers, especially as we get into our game of the year towards the end of this podcast, or maybe the middle. Spoilers, the whatnot.
The what have yous.
These are our personal opinions, obviously. And, of course, for these 2 categories here, we're going to do our favorites, our personal favorite. We're not going to come up with a consensus of what is the best, but once we get into the top 10 games of 2022, we will try and order that list and come to agreement. So let's kick it off with most Insidious time sink. Alex, what would you say this category represents?
Well, so it's funny because I pitched this one as potentially one of my personal categories, but then it was like, oh, we already have some version of this. But my version of it was game I am most pissed I spent this much time playing. And not because I think the game is bad, but because I am angry at how good those games were at making me want to play them always.
Insidious.
Evil.
So for those listening or watching, there is a video version of this. You can always find it over at patreon.com/Nextlander. Here are the nominees in the most Insidious time sink. Vampire Survivors, Marvel Snap, Elden Ring, Horizon Forbidden West, Spider-Heck, Neon White, Warhammer 40k Dark Tide, Grounded, God of War Ragnarok, and Dwarf Fortress. These games are games that would have a large hour count, let's say.
Can I just record scratch, just like grab the wheel, drive us right off the road?
Okay, already.
Real fast.
Already, yes.
I need to file an addendum on a previous category.
All right, addendum filed.
The mention of Spider-Heck here has jogged my memory that there was something missing from Hard Game Club, and I couldn't put my finger on it. It was driving me crazy. It's the menu gauntlet from Spider-Heck.
Okay. Should we put this in and star it?
If you want an actual winner of that category, it's that fucking obstacle course thing in the menu of Spider-Heck. That's the true Hard Game Club.
Mean stuff.
The menu of Spider-Heck, the lobby, really, right?
The lobby. Sure, yes. I will finish it one day. I will find out what's at the other side of that thing.
Great. Or what happens when you get there? Have you seen what the image is over there? Have you gotten the scroll that far?
No,
okay.
I've made sure I went out of my way not to find out.
Sometimes no one tell Brad.
Sometimes you could see it when it pushes over. I've only seen it when the screen scrolls a little bit. I haven't cheated my way, but I think you and I have made it not past that middle part, right? That part where you have to go straight up.
Yes, I think that's right.
Yeah, that part stinks. That's a poopy part. But
that's the hardest thing this year.
But if you're playing with multiple people, sometimes the screen pans over and you can see it. All right. Addendum noted and filed. We have added the lobby of Spider-Heck to Brad's Hard Game Club. Possible winner in that Hard Game Club.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we are on most Insidious time sink. Vampire Survivors, Marvel Snap, Elden Ring, Horizon, Spider-Heck, Neon White, Warhammer 40k, Dark Tide, Grounded, God of War, Ragnarok, Dwarf, Fortress.
Fortress.
These are games we are both happy to have played and maybe angry to have spent so many hours in.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to point out that for a handful of these games that are fairly linear story-driven games, being an Insidious time sink is not really a positive, I don't think.
Not always a great thing. And I'm going to say, on that note,
for a couple of these,
God of War Ragnarok, I love that game. It's a lot of fun. I think that game could have been tightened up with the collectathons. I put too many hours and collectible stuff in there. I'm going to say this.
The thing that eventually drove me away from it is that it just feels like it's too much of that shit.
Here is the thing to fix God of War Ragnarok. It's a game about having mystical abilities and talismans and all these fancy doodads from Norse mythology. Give Kratos a thing that lets him fast travel to the tree. Don't make him go to the gate to fast travel. At some point, give old Kratos, it could be at the end of the game when you're mopping stuff up, just a thing that allows him to open a portal from wherever he is. The mechanics are in there. I'm not going to say who's got it, but they got it already.
Just give him a gem or a rock or a fucking keychain. I don't care. Whatever it is that makes him go there. Make him do it.
Give him a bunch of crows. Let's say.
Kratos is a bunch of crows kind of guy, but sure.
Anyway, God of War Ragnarok, Insidious time sink. Take it off this list. I'm angry at it.
All right. Yeah, I get it. I'm kind of in the same boat with Horizon, which is also a place I ended up with the first Horizon a couple times. There's just kind of too much of it, and none of it is bad enough to outright ignore, but none of it is good enough to feel like you're necessarily spending your time on it wisely. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the whole game, to be clear. Like, it's the side stuff. It's like there's a tier of side quests in that game that is like just good enough that you want to do them all, but rarely feels like it's really paying off in either a narrative or mechanical gameplay sense. And yet I keep doing them.
It seems like a lot of busy work sometimes.
Yeah. And a lot of like the icons are spread out all over the place where it's like, oh man, I thought I was done up there, but I've got to, God, there's 3 more side quests up there. Stop spawning side quests. I'm going to go talk to these people and help them with their problem.
It doesn't, for me, it doesn't necessarily have the open world bloat that a lot of stuff has, but I hear where you're coming from, and it takes its time.
Something I'll salute them on is that some of the repeatable activities in that game, they put a lot of thought into, like the tall necks, for example. Like, I was pretty impressed with, even the first game had a little bit of this, but the tall necks in this game, like, each one is very meaningfully different in how you approach it,
Yeah.
Like, there's that one where you have to, like, man these turrets and, like, shoot parts off of it as it's walking around, like, they came up with interesting twists on that repeatable activity, like, every time you do it, almost. But a lot of the side quests.
I like a lot of the side quests. It's just so much. It's just so much. And
well, again, I don't think any of them are bad. Like, none of them are terrible. It's just that it's not hitting that like Witcher 3 level of like every single tiny thing you do is like, oh my God, that was awesome. Like they told a really nice, complete story in 5 minutes. Wow. Like, we're not getting quite as much of that.
But
anyway.
I definitely, it's one of those things where I'm a little ashamed at my hour count, Like,
sure. Do you know what you hit?
No, I don't remember.
Okay. I think I'm at like 60 and I'm still got a ton of story left.
Okay. Yes, that sounds, it's
maybe 50, somewhere around there.
Like that and God of War, like one of those games that just is like, okay, like there are some games that have an hour count in that I'm happy to have had. I think my hour count when I think about Forbidden West was like, okay, maybe I didn't have to get every single thing in that game. Okay. I want to switch gears here to a game where I'm proud of my hour count and I loved getting everything in it, and it's Elden Ring. And
yes,
I was so happy to get everything, so happy that I streamed my trophy achievement because I was so happy to have had everything to hit that trophy. Now,
do you have the platinum?
I have the platinum, yeah. But
you did it.
Is it everything? I think it's as much stuff as I could possibly do in the playthrough I had, because there are certain things now, trophy wise, yes, but like, is it all the stuff I wanted? There are still things I wanted to see, but narratively, you had to choose a path, right? Left or right. And I, had to choose the left or right. So much so that I uploaded my save to the cloud and did all the endings and would re-download my save so I can get all the different endings. I loved it.
Now you're gaming.
Now I'm really gaming. Elden Ring is probably mine on this list if I were to pick one right now.
Like that is the good version of the stuff we were just talking about with God of War and Horizon.
Yeah.
Like that is a major AAA big time story type. Story is maybe a stretch.
Come on.
Story.
But it's that category of game where you actually spend 100 hours with it and it was all meaningful.
Yes.
And valuable.
I mean, if we're going outside of Nextlander, the tales of how many hours people have spent in Elden Ring are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
But they made good.
Best value. That's right.
It's best value, but like they made good on the promise of what if we took this formula, this kind of game that we make, and put it into an open world. They didn't just do that. They made a really compelling open world that also happens to fit the structure of the kind of game they like to make.
Yeah, I mean, I did eat a tiny bit of crow like when the embargo first lifted for that game, and I was out there tweeting. It's just like, oh my god, it's an open world where like everything is different, and then like you do start hitting like some of those really generic crypt tiny side dungeons.
Yep. There is repeatable content in there.
There is some repeated stuff out there, but still, by and large, like it's just
some of the monsters are reskinned. There is definitely repeat stuff in there, but I'll go back to your points in the Insidious time sink. I feel like this game for me is really high up there, if not the one, because you go set off to do one thing and you wind up doing 10 other things. Maybe you got to that thing you were going to do a week from now because you just found every other dungeon you wanted to explore. Yeah, it's gnarly like that.
What a thing.
Yeah, what a thing. What a thing. Okay.
Is Marvel Snap a good time sink?
All right. Let's just do this now. There's 2 games on this list that are my games for this list.
Okay.
They are Vampire Survivors and they are Marvel Snap.
Mm-hmm.
A month ago, I would have said it was Vampire Survivors, walk off home run. Like that, I spent so many hours, especially at the first 6 months of this year, playing Vampire Survivors, that I did not foresee anything feeling more like an Insidious trap for my time and effort. Marvel Snap, this shit right here, man. This shit should be behind the counter where you buy the fucking dick pills and the salvia at the bodega.
Alex is holding his phone to the camera, listening.
Or should this be one of those you have to show your ID at the pharmacy?
Yes, they should put a sleeve over this like it's Penthouse at a fucking 7-Eleven. This game is a nightmare. It is the most bite-sized card game of these types that I have ever played. And it is perfectly tuned to siphon up like a few minutes at a time and have those few minutes at a time stretch for like 3 hours. This shit is evil. It is wrong. And I think it wins this category.
You're in it, huh?
Dude, my collection level is 1,460.
That's a high number.
I'm hovering in the 60 to 70 level range for the season, between Diamond and Vibranium.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Wait, are those the names of their tiers?
Yes, the
Is there
higher
actually
tiers.
a fucking Vibranium League?
The ones after that are Omega, Galactic, and Infinite. I haven't gotten to those yet. I will say the one thing I've managed to avoid doing, I have spent no money that was on anything other than the monthly battle passes.
Okay.
I have not sank any additional capital into this game beyond what they do for their seasonal events, and that is how I plan to keep it.
That's how you win.
Yes.
Is you keep playing the game and you never spend any money on it. Clash Royale.
I am spending money, but it's like $10 a month, and that is fine by me because I get the specific seasonal rewards. I'm getting what I want out of it. I am not throwing extra money just to get gold so I can fucking level up cards. I'm not doing that.
Oh, man.
It is a mess, man. My life has been a mess since this game came into my life.
Okay. I have not touched it. Maybe I should stay away. I don't know.
I feel like, I mean, I think we talked about this like in the course of one podcast that he was talking about it. I downloaded it on Steam and then deleted it before the podcast was over without ever launching it.
You made the right decision.
And I was like, you know what? I'm good.
Just protecting yourself.
I'm good.
It's a really well fine-tuned game. It's very fun. Like I said, the battles are incredibly bite-sized, but there's like a decent meta game in there. And the fact that like every game, the 3 places where you are placing cards have randomized abilities keeps things fresh. And in such a way that you are not just facing the same decks over and over and over again, the way you would sometimes with like Hearthstone or something like that.
To be honest, it sounds like you both have your winners already.
Well, okay.
Vampire Survivors is so close to also being a winner for me on this one because, man, did I sink a lot of hours into that thing. Especially during the early access period where they kept adding stuff every couple of months or so, new levels, new characters and stuff. And
I mean, oh, sorry, go ahead.
But it's really good. It's just really fun.
Well, that thing is the anti-Marvel Snap to me because it's fucking $4, right? Isn't it?
It was like $1 in early access is the thing. It was very cheap.
I think it's $3.99 now. Let me just double check.
It's free on mobile, right?
So as to reinforce my point, yeah, it is free on mobile. I don't know how they monetize it on there. It's $5 now on Steam. Still a deal.
A steal.
It's the anti-Marvel Snap because it's $5 and then you just got the game, you know, and it's like a tremendous amount of replayability. I think they did just release their first DLC, actually.
They did.
Like last week? Or
it was very recently. It's certainly this month at least.
Legacy of the Moonspell 6 days ago at the time of this recording. But you know, it's $5 and there's a ton of game there. It is not what I would call exploitative.
No.
In any sense.
I also played a ton of Grounded and lost hours and hours and hours into Grounded. Ground down my free time. It was weekends. It was nights. Grounded is an Insidious time sink because it is one of those crafting games where you are just need a couple of more ladybug parts. Need a couple more of this to get your next hit. Grounded could very easily take this category for me. It's a hell of a game. The treadmill just runs. It just goes. You can't. If you stop moving, you will fall off.
Yeah.
Base perfection is always just out of reach. If I could just craft this one more lantern, my base would be perfect.
And all I need to craft that one more lantern are these 3 things. But I need this better sword to get the one of the 3 things. But to get the better sword, I just need one of these things.
That's how they get you.
The only thing that really ground my progress to a halt was, and this is kind of a maybe a backhanded compliment. They are iterating quickly on this game still, so I was like, I should wait for the next patch before I do this big upgrade because they're making some stuff easier. So I'm gonna wait for this patch. The other thing is I needed Black Widow parts, and it was it's very hard. I was having a really hard time doing it. I could not defeat that obstacle. But Grounded or Elden Ring for me on this list are high performers. They are great time sinks. They are absolutely worthy of being called an Insidious time sink.
Okay. These are our awards. We can make up these rules a little bit as we go along, right?
No.
Sure.
Fuck.
Unless it is we are going to have more than one winner per person.
Okay.
In which case, no. Come on.
Damn it.
Come on,
all right.
Dude.
It's in my mind, these 2 games are inextricable for me. Like they are the various chunks of my year.
I get it, but I mean, to talk about them all at all is to include them in category.
Yeah, and so in the end, I think I have to go with Marvel Snap because that one is more insidious.
I that definitely seems to be the case.
Brad, where are you feeling?
I didn't really get locked into the Neon Whites, the leaderboard chasing like I thought I might, outside of like the Giant Bomb tournament stuff we did.
That was fun. And
there was definitely there was a brief flash of these motherfuckers need to pay. But I don't know. Did you guys?
I also did not. I got my what is it? The ace, the top medal.
Yeah, what is the top one called? I forget.
There's the hidden one. There's a developer one. I didn't get that on everyone, but I got I forget what the badge is. The platinum, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah,
silver,
I think platinum is the top regular one, if I'm not mistaken. I know it was not the end-all be-all, but I was a little weirded out at how quickly you could unlock ghosts in that game to show you like kind of the optimum route through stuff. But my understanding is you can still get better times than what those ghosts will show you.
Yeah, those guys that I think Grub and Dan were definitely
yes, for sure
pushing it.
That's definitely a game you can spend a lot of time with, and I understand why people do. I think I may pull that off of there.
Okay.
Have you guys played any more Darktide yet?
I have not. No.
I want to play more Darktide.
I also, if you want to play more Darktide with me, I will play more Darktide because I also want to play more Darktide.
My biggest problem right now is the two versions not talking to each other.
Okay.
Which is, I feel like, I'm sure there were development factors that prevented it, but not launching with that is really unfortunate.
When you say two versions, you mean the PC and the Xbox version?
No, there is no Xbox version. It's Steam and
Windows,
like Microsoft Store PC Game Pass version.
Okay.
Those versions do not interoperate in any way, and of course, it being on Game Pass means a ton of people are playing it on Game Pass. But we started on Steam. It would be nice if those work together, because now I'm like, should I start over on the Game Pass version? Because that's where people I know are playing it.
You should probably start over on the Game Pass version, because when it does come to consoles, that's probably where those will probably work together. I assume the Game Pass or the Windows PC.
I think what they've said is we may get to the point where Steam works, where they all work together, but no promises is what they're saying. So it's going all in on the Steam version. You might be kind of. Also, this is assuming I actually play enough Darktide for this to matter, but that game is cool, and I've read about there's a bunch of modifiers and stuff in there that we haven't seen. There's a mission type modifier that turns all the lights off in the mission except for that flashlight that you carry.
Jeez.
And I've heard that some of the stuff like that is pretty exciting and wild. Also, it was just in a very rough state when we first got into it, being pre-release. It feels like a game I would like to play a lot more of.
Yeah, and if it's like Vermintide, they have supported those games pretty well. So I have faith that they will go in there. But I did not put enough time into it for it to be an Insidious time sink for me, but that could be a 2023 time sink if we get into that.
That's kind of where I'm at, I think. Especially the way Vermintide has gone, that's something to check back in on. Who did you put Spiderheck on here?
I put Spiderheck on here because I play that game every weekend. I mean, listen, there's nothing insidious about Spiderheck. It's just a hell of a fun game, really, to play.
Sure.
If I were to look at our accounts on Spiderheck, I mean, maybe like we said at the beginning of this podcast, the trying to get to that lobby thing is insidious in its form, but Spiderheck is just a great place to spend some hours, or let's say a couple of hours, with some local co-op. Or not even local, it's actually online as well. So
yeah, the online's good.
Yeah, so Spiderheck is great. I just have put a ton of hours into it. There's nothing nefarious or insidious about it. You can knock it off. It's just great.
Spiderheck rules.
Spiderheck kind of does rule.
Man, the physics in that game are absurd. Like the swinging and the just madcap out of control stuff that happens.
Spiderheck is a fun game to show people too, because it's so easy to pick up.
Yes. The way the weapons go flying, it feels like a true successor to that era of 4-player couch co-op battle arena type games from 10 years ago.
One of the greatest parental feelings I could have was introducing my son and his friends to Spiderheck, where now on Friday playdates, it is always Spiderheck. After screen time is allowed, Spiderheck happens. I could see a bunch of 10-year-olds going oh my gosh
over this game,
to the point where it's time for them to leave, and they're like, oh, okay, we're just finishing up, and then and they don't want to, how kids are like, we're just finishing up, and I say, all right, I'm gonna go in there, and if I win, you guys have to stop playing, because I love playing Spiderheck so much too, and playing with everybody. Spiderheck's great. All right, Spiderheck's off the list. All right, Dwarf Fortress.
The only thing we haven't talked about here is Dwarf Fortress, which I put on here prospectively. Because I haven't played it since that stream, although I believe the people have spoken, and I will be playing it again tomorrow.
Sure seems that way.
But
have played it if you're watching this.
I just kept thinking about that game after we played it, and thinking about how bad that could go. It seems like exactly my kind of ridiculous simulation getting on top of itself and becoming way too complex and unwieldy with all the absurd emergent things that can happen. You know, everything from like accidentally flooding your underground kingdom to who was it talking about their dwarves becoming god damn it, where rats, where boars,
like turning.
Yes.
Okay.
It just, the amount of shit that can happen in that game seems like it's endless, and like I got enough of a taste of it during that stream that I was like, man.
You didn't even get into on the stream, at least, the all the personality stuff for the dwarves and their bios and their histories, which are in another submenu. It's wild.
Yeah, we'll see how this stream goes. I guess I can't rightfully pick that game because I haven't played enough of it yet, but I feel like I got Dwarf Fortress enough in that first hour to at least understand why it is what it is.
Your honorary
nominee.
I gotta click on Elden Ring here. I gotta put my name next to it. I mean, Grounded is up there for me for sure. I really wonder hour count where they are. I think Grounded may be a little more Insidious, but Elden Ring is probably the most positive Insidious time sink, and I want to put that on there.
Sure.
Okay.
In terms of what I actually played, I might have to go with Grounded. Because I've started it over so many times between the early access version 2 years ago and then us streaming it and then me playing it on my own, and then now I've got friends who want to play it. So we're going to start yet another world.
I love that.
So I've gone through the opening 2 or 3 hours like 4 times now.
You got your opening down. Rush to Antlion Club.
Yes, my build order is pretty honed at this point. Testament to that game, though. Like, I'm totally excited to get in there and start a new world with some people that hopefully we can stick with long enough to actually finish it this time.
I mean, it is like when we played, when Alex, you and Bacalar joined us, you know, Brad and I had already had gear, but I think we spent pretty much the entire stream gearing you guys up.
Yep. Like, we did nothing but maintenance that entire, like, spent 2 hours with a goal in mind that we basically didn't touch because we were just prepping for the goal the whole time.
Yep.
But it's fun.
It's fun.
Like,
it's
every time I've
time sink for sure.
Yeah. Like, but every time I've started over, like, going and cashing all that science in again is still fun. Like, it's just, it has not gotten old, even though I've done a lot of the same stuff over and over.
So that is the most Insidious time sink, with Alex picking Marvel Snap. I put my name next to Elden Ring, and Brad put his name next to Grounded, though I will say for me, Grounded a very, very close second, and I refuse to touch Marvel Snap thanks to Alex's warning. Thank you for being a friend.
Please don't. Stay. Like, if you have friends or loved ones that are using Marvel Snap, there are people you can talk to.
We are now going to move to our next category. 2022, a year defined by a lot of things in gaming. Maybe most. Where
are you going with this?
Maybe most notably for the amount of delays that happened in 2022. Now we understand the delays. We're not coming at this cynically, though it doesn't mean that we didn't want to play some of those games or that we are not anticipating some of those games. And so
there's no anger on our part. This is purely just, oh, man, I wish I was playing that.
I wish I was playing that. So we have a category called Game We Most Wish Had Come Out This Year, and that is not any kind of condemnation for them having to delay. A lot of things happen, but we're doing this because we like video games, and we want to play these games as soon as we can in their best state. So if that gets you there in 2023 and beyond, so be it.
Of course.
The nominees we have for Game We Most Wish Had Come Out This Year: Starfield, man, Arc Raiders, Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, yes, Redfall, Kerbal Space Program 2, Stalker 2, Hearts of Chernobyl, Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp, Dead Island 2, Star Trek Resurgence, and Flashback to a game I had forgot was even talked about until we were making these lists. This could be a very exciting 2023 if these games actually come out in 2023.
you imagine what the conversation would have been like about this year if all this stuff had made it?
No. I don't know. No.
Can't say that I do.
So, where do we start? I mean, I can start with Flashback 2 since it's a game that was in and out. It was out of my memory immediately. So I don't know if I could say I'd been anticipating it that much because I had completely forgotten this game was even announced. Where did we see it? Do you guys remember? Was it at a Microsoft thing?
I want to say it was at Microsoft's Summer Games Fest, not E3 stream.
Okay.
It was Summer Games something.
Or, it might have been a different stream, but I believe it was right around that time frame.
When I looked at it, it looked familiar, but like, I love Flashback. And so I'm looking forward to this, but I had forgotten this existed. So
I definitely remember that popping up on the stream. I'm just going like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Weird. I mean, cool, but weird.
This is going to be great if you're watching the visual version of this, the movie version of this, where we can scrub through all the trailers and get to where they say 2022 at the end of the trailer. But I look forward to that game coming out. Now slated, according to the Internet Games Database, either the end of Q1 in 2023 or sometime before, let's say. We can take that off.
Flashback is a classic.
Yeah, Flashback 2.
It's like
Could be a classic. We don't know yet.
It's like, what if they made Out of This World again, except you had a gun?
You had a gun in Out of This World?
Well, kind of. It's more of an adventure gun, though.
It's an adventure gun.
It's a story gun. You only shoot that thing as many times as they want you to.
That's kind of true.
Not as many times as you want to.
Do you remember Fade to Black?
Yes.
Not very good.
Yes, that game ran very poorly on my PC at the time.
Flash, I'm gonna take this one off.
All right.
I'm going to take one off here that I just kind of threw on here just because I wanted to mention it more than anything else, but I'm actually perfectly happy to wait and see how this thing turns out, is Star Trek Resurgence. This is the Star Trek game that is from ex-Telltale devs.
Yeah, and basically is kind of a Telltale-esque adventure game, but Star Trek, right? I had to look this up to remember what this was.
Yeah. They've shown it a few times in trailers and whatnot, but I don't think anyone's done like a real deep dive on it yet, and it was originally supposed to come out this year. It is pushed to next, but I think it's only until April or something, so I feel like I can wait a little longer for that one, but I am looking forward to playing it because, one, I want to play a new Star Trek game. That sounds like fun. And two, I want to see what a new Telltale-esque thing looks like.
They have a FAQ on their site that has some frequently asked questions in it.
Such as when it's coming out and what platforms?
Or like what time period is it set in?
What time period is it set in?
Set in the year 2380 in the era immediately following the Next Generation films.
Okay. Yeah, they're wearing the gray uniforms.
Is it episodic? No, it is one large story. It's on Unreal Engine. 2 playable characters.
Okay.
2 principal characters through a single epic story with gameplay switching between.
I think that format feels right for Star Trek.
Narrative adventure featuring dialogue choices, relationship building, rich branching storylines, shuttle piloting, phaser fights, tricorder scanning, stealth, and whatever micro gameplay mechanics are. Do you mean mini games?
They might mean mini games.
Or wait, micro games?
Micro mini
games.
Yes,
Wario is in this game.
That all sounds cool. I'll keep my eye on this.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
We're going to remove it from this list, though?
Yeah. Because there's one on this list that I think I'm just going to keep on here because to me it is the most ridiculous thing that we still have not played this yet.
Ooh.
Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. What the fuck are we doing here?
Weird one. I don't know what to make of that one. On the one hand, by all accounts, it's basically done.
Yes.
And was delayed due to the outbreak of war in Europe.
It was supposed to come out like a month after the invasion of Ukraine.
Yes, and so it's still not out. I think they probably could have gotten away with releasing it by now, but I understand.
Yes.
I understand why they wouldn't.
I don't think the sensitivity was unwarranted by any stretch, and I think delaying it out of the immediate zone of that conflict beginning totally makes sense, but the fact that we've heard nothing about it since then is just a little like, what are we doing here? Because it's not like Nintendo had an incredible slate of games this year. There were some good ones, but like they really couldn't have figured out a way to get this thing out in October or November or something.
Yeah, I mean, they did have Splatoon and Bayonetta in that time frame.
I mean, yeah. I get it. I'm sensitive to the decision of this.
Yes, the initial delay made sense to me.
And even now, I don't know. I get it. Like it's
yeah, me too.
It's a game about invading other territories, and
But again, my issue is more that they haven't even signaled like when we might be seeing it.
Well, yeah. I mean, the world's in a.
If you're waiting out Vladimir Putin, I don't know that is a great strategy.
That's very fair. That's a fair point. You should not make your release calendar to Mad Men.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's been so long since the original game, but I think one of the factions is like a pretty explicit Russian analog also, right?
Most of those factions are based on, I think, real world powers. So.
Yeah, so I think that also plays into the decision, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But that is my one on here, I think.
Okay. That's fair.
It hurts a little bit after years of grousing about Fire Emblem fans getting everything they want.
Mm-hmm.
While people who like Advance Wars are out in the cold, since those DS games were not even not Days of Ruins, not even a real Advance Wars game. I don't actually mean that, but kind of. Anyway, yeah, it was nice to see Advance Wars come back. And then it didn't.
Not yet,
but someday. If any Days of Ruin fans yelling at the radio, it's just too serious, okay? Advance Wars should be more lighthearted.
Also,
anyway.
Don't yell at your radio.
Yeah, we don't even come out of the radio.
Yeah, maybe we do. I mean, Alexa, play Nextlander podcast. Sorry, everybody out there. Redfall? Redfall?
I wrote Redfall on here just out of my mental tally of games that got delayed this year, not necessarily because I would name it here.
I do want to play it.
Oh, yeah.
I will definitely try it. It looks like there's something there. The last couple times they've shown it, like the writing and the humor, maybe have not fully landed for me. But I love a like class-based, team-based PvE type thing, which this absolutely seems to be. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
100%.
Like magic powers and everybody having different abilities, and it's just like they're all just Destiny strikes, right? Like games that are just Destiny strikes.
You're not wrong.
I'm kind of into that. And it looks like it could be a cool, spooky one of those, but we'll see.
Yeah, I it's not going to be my pick, but no. They are at least updating release dates on this.
Yeah,
June of 2023, or the end of the quarter.
I think it's by then. Yeah, okay. It and Starfall kind of got delayed together-ish, and both were just like by June of next year.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to pull that off there. I can't in good conscience say Dead Island 2 is it. But I put it on here. Like I like Dying Light 2, but it didn't quite blow my hair back the way I hoped it would. And the footage they've put out of Dead Island 2 doesn't look terrible. And I like a crafting based zombies for first person survival game. So maybe
this feels like a very long wind up to a but.
Maybe it'll be cool. No, I'm just maybe it'll be cool.
I
liked the first Dead Island way more than most people, although this bears very little resemblance to that. But
what an amazing path on these games, huh?
I mean, this game is this game's been through like 3 different developers. Whatever, we don't need to recount the long and tumultuous history of this game's development, but it does appear to finally be coming out, and I will definitely try it. It looks ridiculous. I don't know if it will actually be funny or not.
Yes.
If it is legitimately funny, then it could be cool. I don't know.
April?
Not putting any. Is that what it is?
That's what the Internet Games Database wants to tell me. I don't know if that is.
I would believe that.
100% correct. That's what they're saying. I'd believe that also.
Cautiously looking forward to that.
I'm going to say one that I really want to play, which is Kerbal Space Program 2, a game that... I
kind of figured this would be your winner.
Yeah. Well, there's one other one on here that I have more of an academic professional curiosity about, and that's Starfield. Kerbal Space Program 2, I just really want to get into and see what they're doing there. Like, that game, gosh, I don't know what the original announcement for that was, but it has been a long time coming. I'm not even sure it's in our database. It is a long one. I want to play it.
Of course you do. It's Kerbal.
It's Kerbal. Well,
and it's gone through so many steps from like where original Kerbal was. Like there's the 2K buyout. There's a different studio making it. Like it's been a whole journey with that thing.
Huh? That'll be weird with a different developer behind it.
Yeah, I mean there were years ago there was talk about maybe some problems with the studio internally and Kerbal, original Kerbal.
Yeah, the original Kerbal studio
and stuff like that. So I'm like, what do you take from the original? The original Kerbal is such a hodgepodge of mods and playing it on PC and, make sure I don't know if you remember, Alex, all the weird things we downloaded to put in, to tack on top of the Kerbal game. I'll be very curious to see how this whole thing goes, when and if this game ever comes out. They're saying February, or at least Internet Games Database is saying February.
They're saying it.
Do you believe it? I don't know.
I don't believe any release date until it's out.
This is what they're saying.
Apparently, it has multiplayer.
This is what they're saying.
And interstellar travel.
20
That seems ambitious.
This trailer I'm watching says coming to you in 2020. So,
okay. Hey, a lot happened in 2020.
Sure did. It sure did. I think I'm gonna put my name next to that for now. But Starfield. Who's not curious about Starfield?
I bet this is not what anyone at Bethesda wants to hear, but prior to them showing a significant amount of that game, this would have been my lock to come in here and say it's this. Mm-hmm. And then I saw that long gameplay demo, and now I'm a little less sure.
Well, because you're a little more sure, maybe?
No. My expectations have been tempered a little bit. Like, honestly, it was really just the shooting that I think that concerned me the most. Mm-hmm. Like that, and I'm far from the only person to express this opinion, like that the shooting just looked so weightless in that demo that they put out. And they don't exactly have the best track record with exciting action to begin with in other games that they've made. Like, who plays Fallout as a shooter?
No.
Anybody?
No.
Absolutely not.
The enemies barely seem to react to the shooting in this, I don't know. Maybe I'm being harsh. Like, it just, something about it is, I don't know.
I mean, I think that's fair. I think that's totally fair. I also, this feels like their big swing. And so when they showed it, you're like, oh, okay. I think I kind of know what this is, like when they showed it. Like, yeah, I kind of get what you're doing. I mean, some of the base building stuff was interesting, but I was like, yeah, okay, the next version of this.
Don't get me wrong, like the shipbuilding stuff looks amazing. Like, the fact that you can literally part out your ship in an editor like that and then go inside and walk around. Like, what if Mass Effect let you build the Normandy?
Normandy's perfect.
And then hang out in the Normandy you built.
Normandy's already perfect.
Like, that sounds incredible. And this has that,
Yeah.
Like, this has the No Man's Sky thing of, like, there's a bajillion planets and you can just fly back and forth however you want. Like, that sounds cool. There's a ton of stuff that still sounds very cool about this game.
Yes.
Also, opinions vary about the quality of the writing in their games recently. Fallout 4, looking at you. Mm-hmm. So I hope that they bring it on that front. I'm still very interested to play Starfield. Extremely interested, but
is it your pick?
That demo kind of brought it back down to earth a little bit. Let's say. Yes. But you hear it all the time that like games only really come together right at the end, right?
Yes.
So clearly they delayed it for a reason, and maybe it's still got some shaping up to do and will do before it comes out.
It's a big one.
Yes. I'm weirdly ambivalent about Zelda.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, I will absolutely, like, fucking Breath of the Wild is one of the best games ever made. Like, I definitely will play more of that. I need to know a little more about what's different about it. Like, it seems like flight and hanging out in the sky is a big deal. But beyond that, I'm kind of curious what's different.
Yeah, it's like you can tell what the structure of the thing will likely be, but like you don't know what the seasoning's going to be at this point.
Yeah, kind of that. And like, I wonder how much they're doing to the existing landmass. Kind of a lot of questions I'm still curious about. Like, is this the Majora's Mask to Breath of the Wild's Ocarina?
Oh man,
that is a loaded statement, one way or the other.
I don't know. What is that going to mean? I'm very excited to play it, but
what is our new date for that? May?
I want to say it's May.
Okay, May 12th. This is what the Internet Games Database is saying. That's okay. That's still a ways.
That's about 6 months.
Yeah, we'll get there sooner than later.
Got time.
I share the same sentiment of what's the divergent path from Breath of the Wild. Put a lot of hours into Breath of the Wild. Not that I wouldn't want to go back into Tears of the Kingdom, but I'm more curious about Kerbal in what they do with that.
Yes. I don't know if it's fair to have put Stalker 2 on here.
I mean, they really probably.
Yes.
Like, if any game deserved a delay, it's this one.
Seriously.
Honestly, even if it hadn't been for fucking horrible shit happening in Ukraine, I would not have expected this game to come out this year regardless, just considering, that franchise and that developer and all that stuff. But like, yeah, given the current circumstances, bring me that game when it is possible to do so.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly happy to wait.
I think
that's not on here.
I want to say, wasn't it delayed to like December even before the invasion?
I believe so. It was definitely not going to be an early this year thing.
I believe that was the case, and then definitely now it is. Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot they straight up moved development of that game to Prague because of the conflict.
Yeah.
So presumably they have kind of gotten resettled and are back to work. But yeah, if any delay was understandable,
this is the one.
I was having trouble searching for this because of all the because it's a big acronym.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unbelievably understanding.
Yeah,
of this one. I mean, we're understanding of all these delays, obviously, but like, I mean, this is just real. I mean, what are you going to do?
I have the most understanding for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only other game I put on here is Arc Raiders, which I remain incredibly interested in. For a variety of reasons. It is the multiplayer PvE game from Embark and Nexon, which is you against some giant ass robots, and I mean giant robots with a bunch of wild physics and weird weapons. And
how giant are they?
And the graphics and physics are rad as hell.
Man, this game still looks like it does.
So good.
Like it shouldn't exist.
Look at those fucking explosions.
It looks like I'm watching. Okay, well, we're watching a trailer here, but as I'm watching it, it looks like I'm watching stuff from what could be a Star Wars movie, like or at least early Star Wars movies.
Totally. Like, I mean, like Embark is like up there with like an id Software or a Crytek in terms of just like
pushing tech,
being a very proficient tech shop. Absolutely, yeah. So. So that's part of why I want to play this, just to see what they're putting together on the tech end. But also, man, it just look at those fucking robots.
Yeah, it looks. They're this
huge.
This game looks awesome.
And then the jump pad, like you fucking hit a jump pad 50 feet in the air to throw a grenade down the blowhole. these giant robot. Man, it looks so good.
This looks cool.
Man,
is this your pick? I can understand if it is.
In terms of like the games that I'm just like hot and heavy to play, it might be this one. But it being like a free to play game that'll presumably be supported for a very long time, I don't know, makes it weirdly somehow like more of a like, hey, take your time, whenever kind of thing, because you'll potentially be able to play it for a very long time if you want.
Right.
I I guess the spirit of the category, though, is just like, what is the thing you most want to play?
So that Arc Raiders had a 2022 date at some point?
Yes.
Man.
Yes.
Blown my mind. Oh, yeah.
Coming 2022 at the end of the reveal trailer.
Okay, so they have not updated their dates yet, just 2023 at this point?
I believe it's just 2023 at the moment.
That game looks rad as hell.
Yeah, like you pulling up that trailer, if you're listening to the audio version of this and don't know Arc Raiders, go pull up the reveal trailer. It looks so goddamn cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And in the context of me not actually saying like, "Hey, hurry it up" or anything.
Of course.
I guess that goes for all of these. I actually am going to go with Arc Raiders because Zelda and Starfield are to some degree known quantities, and that shit looks like something I have not seen before.
So, game we most wish had come out this year, obviously understanding of all the delays and the reasons for them. We have Arc Raiders for Brad, Kerbal Space Program 2 for me, Vinny, and Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp for Alex. Can't wait to get our hands on these games when they are good and ready to be shipped. Hopefully A, when they're ready, and B, soon. All right, we're going to move on to our big one here. We're moving on to the top 10 games of 2022. Are you guys ready for this?
I mean, should we take a break first?
We're definitely going to take a break.
Okay.
Before
then
we
yes, I am.
List them off. Folks, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with our top 10 of 2022 in just a moment. Stick around. This week's show is brought to you by Bespoke Post. Bespoke Post, they've got that box of awesome. If you've listened to Nextlander, you know about the box of awesome. Alex and Brad.
Indeed.
Better than the box of mediocre, that's for sure.
That's for sure. Better than a box of okra.
Well, now, let's not be hasty.
Are you saying that okra's not awesome?
No, okra's... Oh, man, listen, baby. Okra will come in your box of awesome. I don't really know. I've got knives. I've gotten whiskey glasses. I've gotten scented things for the home. I've gotten bags to carry stuff in.
I got a cozy, warm shirt that I've been wearing this winter that is fantastic from a brand called Line of Trade. Okay. I got that same incense. I have gotten several boxes of awesome, and let me tell you, I have found the goods to be fairly awesome.
I got a headlamp.
You got a headlamp?
I got a headlamp.
Was it an awesome headlamp?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
It's right here.
Brad's gonna put on his headlamp.
Put it on and look like Sam Fisher.
This is an audio ad. No one will see it, but I love it. I can see it right now.
Brad is both wearing his headlamp and looking like Sam Fisher. While you do that, Brad, let me explain what Box of Awesome is to the fine folks listening. Box of Awesome gets you started with a quiz over at boxofawesome.com. Your answers help them pick the right box of awesome for you. They release new boxes every month across a ton of different categories. Each box is valued around $70, but you're only going to pay a fraction of that price. Plus, with each box of awesome, you're supporting small businesses. 90% of everything that comes in your box of awesome is from a small, up-and-coming brand. But you didn't know, small and up-and-coming brands like headlamps, too. It's free to sign up, and you can skip a month or cancel at any time. How do you do this? Let me tell you. Let me give you that call to action. You can get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and enter the code NEXTLANDER at checkout. That's boxofawesome.com, code NEXTLANDER for 20% off your first box. Boxofawesome.com, code NEXTLANDER. Thanks, Bespoke Post. All right, we are now in it. Those are the most Insidious time sinks and the game we most wish had come out this year. And we are now moving on to the top 10 games of 2022. We've talked a lot about games so far over the last episode and this one.
Yes, over the last year, over the last 20 years.
Yes.
Anyway.
There have been a lot of video games. These are the picks we have pulled for 2022 in so far, unless something gets added to the bottom, alphabetical order. Here we go. Atari 50, the Anniversary Collection, Citizen Sleeper, Cult of the Lamb, Dorf Romantic, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Grounded, Horizon Forbidden West, Immortality, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Neon White, Norco, Pentiment, Spider Heck, Splatoon 3, The Callisto Protocol, The Quarry, Trombone Champ, Tunic, Vampire Survivors, and Warhammer 40k Dark Tide. We got an extra Tunic on here. I'm just
doing a great job of whittling these down.
The game's so nice, they listed it twice.
That's the big list, not obviously in any order yet except alphabetical. We've got to get this down to 10 in an ordered fashion.
I mean, we don't have
to. That's the goal.
Hang on, I'm going to do something real quick here. I'm just going to add one thing. I'm going to add Marvel Snap, and then I'm going to delete Marvel Snap.
Okay,
there,
Alex has deleted the first game. Marvel Snap is now out of the running for Game of the Year.
It's on my top 10 list, and I begrudge its existence.
Oh, man. We talked a lot about all of these games. Let's say one we didn't talk a lot about is Cult of the Lamb. Cult of the Lamb, a fun game where you are running kind of a dark humor, let's say, dark comedy of a cult simulation, but with little animals, and you're serving your dark god, and you're trying to keep them fed. It's part
Let's say this is not a game that is particularly sensitive to the aspect of cults and, cult behavior, and is more of just a big goof on the concept.
Yes. It is part roguelike, part kind of Binding of Isaac, and part town management.
Yes.
Neither of those get too deep in them, but they are fun. I enjoyed it. I finished that one.
I think it does every one of its things pretty well.
Yeah.
None of it is spectacular, but it is a game that I was motivated to finish this year. And I think the combination of those various systems all kind of working together is a big part of what propelled me through it. And it's very cute. Mm-hmm. It's got a good art style. It's got good music. I think it's a pretty well-rounded package. It's just that unfortunately some of the console versions had bugs. PC version had a few as well, but not as bad as the console versions.
Yeah, did we know how well they got cleaned up?
It got cleaned.
I think they
did.
They ironed most of it out. Yeah.
Okay, because there were some pretty bad simulation bugs in there with just parts of the town management stuff just breaking and not working right.
Yeah,
I ran into two kind of save stopping bugs that got patched out, and I was able to move on. So it seemed like they were on top of it. I don't know for sure if it's all fixed, but at least my stuff got fixed up, and I liked it. I really liked it. Anything else we haven't really talked about here at all?
Dwarf Romantic came out of early access this year.
It did.
It did.
I did not start playing it until this year when it did come out. It is this is one that I almost put on the time suck one, but there's nothing insidious about Dwarf Romantic. It is one of the most chill games I've played this year. It is just a little puzzle game where you are connecting terrain to, their objectives of hey, get X number of trees here, or connect to X number of houses. And every tile is sort of a randomized collection of the various types of terrain that you can connect. And it's just a game you just kind of cool out and just plug away at, just placing stuff. It's really nice.
I haven't played it since it hit 1.0. I played it in early access. I think it was mostly there then, but it was that game is so chill that I kept waiting for it to introduce something else. I was like, wait, is that really all you're going to ask of me? I can kind of just do this?
Yeah.
Hang on. When am I going to get to the point where you're not going to let me place a tile like that or whatever, And it's just they do score you, but it's so chill that it's kind of just you just kind of build your little scene however you want.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll slap a score on there. It's cool.
It is a leaderboard game, but I can tell you right now, I have never looked at the leaderboards. The only thing I care about is beating my own personal scores.
Yeah, it's neat. I mean, it's a trifle.
Yes,
it's pretty light,
but a wonderful one.
But it's very chill and pleasant. It's a pleasant game.
Good vibes.
I saw something getting added to this list.
I threw Stray on here.
Stray's back on.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, Stray. Well,
What are some other ones we haven't talked much about?
We've kind of gone into most of these.
I feel like we haven't talked that much about Neon White, really.
Not a ton.
No. Neon White is I think, Alex, you described it best as a leaderboard chaser. It's got this kind of almost visual novel story side where you're kind of going through with your character and you have relationship stuff where you're giving gifts to people, but the gameplay side is where you are doing time trial or time-based runs that are very fast through levels that involve you playing weapon cards to navigate and kill enemies, or navigate the environment and kill enemies. So there's usually like an alt to each card. If you can shoot something, it might also explode, or I don't know, what are some better examples? You can fire the machine gun and shoot a kind of a detonation that'll blow you up. There's a stomp.
Like one of them's just a jump. I can't remember.
Oh yeah,
is it the pistol?
I think the pistol is just the elevate. It's just the...
Yeah, like the cards are basically how you equip the weapons, but it is a first-person shooter / parkour thing at its core. You're definitely having to aim and shoot.
It's neat.
Yeah, it's very unique. Like I can't think of anything that has quite blended these aspects before.
It played much better than it showed for me. Like I wasn't sure how this was going to go.
Yeah, like I didn't know what to make of when they first announced it and said it had cards in it. I was like, so it's turn-based?
Yeah.
Really? Because like you hear cards, you just assume turn-based, even though it sure as hell doesn't look like it. But sure enough, you get your hands on it. It is very much a first-person obstacle course.
Puzzle game, really. I mean...
Super fast-paced. But you have to optimize yourself because you only get so many cards, and so you have to figure out the best way to get through stuff without running out of cards.
And also, cards swap out, and they move. They'll give you order priority when you're running through. So you kind of have to kind of think about your path through the game a little bit, which is it's very cool.
Neon White is cool. It is almost certainly going to be in my top 10.
Yeah, this is going to be not fun to winnow down. I don't really know where
I'm going to have a blast. I don't know about you.
I don't know where to... let me do this. I'm going to start with a game that I think should be on this list.
Okay.
And it's going to be Elden Ring.
I think Elden Ring should be on this list.
I'm just going to bold Elden Ring.
I think that's a safe bet.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we should just like throw out some stuff we think should definitely be on there and see where we're at. Okay, like I think Atari 50 absolutely should be on there.
I absolutely agree with that.
Absolutely can accept that. I think NORCO should be on here.
I agree with that. All right. I think...
The fact that I don't immediately have another game to go to. Grounded.
Grounded should be on here, yep.
Grounded, absolutely.
I think... I'm gonna say, what is I would go to bat for here. I think Horizon should be on here. I'm gonna.
Okay. I mean, no, we can definitely.
That's what
we can like.
None of this is locked in. There's always a chance, but yes.
I don't know. I don't like the crowd reaction on that one. Okay.
The Quarry.
I like the Quarry.
Interesting. Okay.
I think that the Quarry is pretty high up for me.
Alex, you want to? It seems like we're just going around. So you want to go?
Vampire Survivors, baby.
Okay.
Yeah, none of this has to be binding, but I mean, if we're just trying to see who likes what the most, like the stuff that doesn't get picked here early on is probably more subject.
What are the pick-me games? Is what you're saying?
Yeah. This is probably going to be a personal one. I really like God of War Ragnarok. I would put it on a list.
Yeah, I don't like any of your picks anymore.
It's okay. It's okay.
Like, I really think Tunic should be in a top 10 list, even though I didn't finish Tunic. Like, I fell off of it because there were parts of it that I just didn't mesh with super well.
Let's consider for now.
But I think it's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the stuff that it does well is, like, so damn cool.
Let's keep it on here.
I was going to pick Tunic. That's the next thing.
All right.
I might take one more stab at finishing that over the break. Like, I feel like I should at least see the end.
Pendament.
Okay. I would put Citizen Sleeper on this list.
That would have been my next one if we'd gotten back around.
I was going to Citizen Sleep or Spider Hack, and I'm going to go. I could go either, but I'm just going to go Citizen Sleeper for now.
Okay. I think one more round, and then we probably have at least the ones that we're going to have to debate.
Yeah.
So you got that one. Brad, what do you got?
I mean, I think Neon White should probably be in there. I like Callisto Protocol despite its issues. I like Stray quite a bit.
You do?
Jeez, I don't know.
We're definitely in the harder zone.
Stray?
Stray's great.
I'll say Stray.
All right.
All right. I'm just going to...
Well, I got one more.
Oh, sorry, Alex. I was going to steal yours and just put Spider Hack. That's what you're going to pick, right?
No.
Okay.
If you want to pick Spider Hack and I'll take Citizen Sleeper, you're welcome to do that. I'll do that deal with you.
We'll go. Okay, listen. We can keep going.
Mine was going to be Immortality.
Okay. Immortality, and I will. I'm going to pick Spider Hack. Okay. Brad,
I think.
Did you want? Well, is that? I don't want to. I think I started, didn't I? I started with Elden Ring, so we should probably end on you again, Alex. So, Brad, if you want to.
Well, this is all just kind of taking the temperature here.
Okay.
Like, this is more for saying like,
what do we?
Okay.
Don't, by being positive, what don't we feel that great about?
Like, okay, Darktide, Trombone Champ, Splatoon 3, and Dwarf Romantic can probably go.
I think that's all correct.
Is the type of thing I mean.
Yep. Why don't you not?
I personally would put Trombone Champ in here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's actually going to make it.
One of the best out of left field things from this year.
I think I didn't even play that much of it, but I sure did enjoy watching YouTube, Twitch or Twitter videos of it.
Mm-hmm.
I again have not played it. I think Darktide is very cool, but they need to add more, and I need to play more of it to say that game is a slow burn.
Yes,
it was kind of barely finished when they got it out, and it's right at the end of the year, so that game's going to take some time to really shape up.
What was the third one?
Splatoon 3. Splatoon 3 is like the most fun I've had with a Splatoon. I don't know why, because it doesn't feel that fundamentally different from the other two.
It's just really well fine-tuned. Like they've taken the things that are good about that game and they have just like honed them over the various sequels.
Yeah, and like doing the tournament we did and getting Abby on, like he was very serious about Splatoon. Like
it's great Splatoon.
But
better than 2, I think.
It is more of that.
I don't think Dwarf Romantic stays on here, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's cool. Nice soundtrack.
Cool.
I listen to the soundtrack periodically. Cult of Lamb really going to make it?
I don't...
Like, it feels like there's a real jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing going on.
So I haven't made a personal list yet. It might make it on mine. I'm not sure yet, but I don't know if it'll make it on this list here, though. A lot of the games on here I think will make my personal list, honestly. Like, would I take Cult of the Lamb over Immortality? No, probably not. Would I take it over anything else that's highlighted here? I haven't played a ton of Vampire Survivors. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. If I'm the one pushing for it, I don't know if Alex, you're going to push for it to stay on here. I don't know if I have it. Alex?
Yeah, I think I can't make the argument for that one.
Like, again, I'll have to rethink it for my personal list, but
I think these other games are much more significant. For me, at least.
I would agree with that. Take it off.
Like, to me, that and Mario and Rabbids actually occupy a very similar space of, this is a game I really liked, and I liked it enough to finish it, but I can't say that it is a thing that is like, this is the standout game of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Cult of the Lamb was a lot of fun. It had some interesting ideas. It did a lot of things fairly well. Rabbids is like, they made a better sequel to that first game. They changed up the gameplay some interesting ways. It runs a little long, for what they have, but it doesn't fall off a difficulty cliff the way the first game did. So I feel like they did make some pretty significant strides. But it is also another Mario and Rabbids game that is just well made.
I have to give them credit. They did more than I expected they would in terms of evolving or changing up the formula. I expected it to be a lot closer to the original than it was.
And I think the changes they made were all good. Like, they were all smart.
They straight up overhauled the movement, the character movement. Like that. That is the kind of like fundamental part of the formula that I assumed was just kind of written in stone. So but yes, I'm also kind of with you. That game is very cool, but I think it just loses some impact by being a sequel, and that first one was just kind of weird, and this one is a little more known.
Yeah, I still want to play it, but I fell off of it, and I never finished it. Like, something about it just... Well,
it's worth finishing. It's fun.
Yeah.
I think pretty much to the end. It's just, it like the first game, it does run a little long.
It feels like a game that I will go back to when I travel.
All right. We got
2 here that haven't been bolded yet.
We have 2 here.
The game cops are on their way.
Game cops are coming. We've got Neon White not bolded and the Callisto Protocol not bolded. Both of these games feel like they should be on a list.
You think so?
I don't know. It's like,
I don't know, man. Callisto Protocol feels like it belongs on a list. I don't know if it's this one.
I like Callisto Protocol.
Yeah, despite its issues, I also do.
I wish I did, but I really didn't like. And I mean, again, I have not played since they did that big update, but I found it really off-putting.
Okay, I mean, I totally understand that as well.
I did as well, but I saw it as a challenge to be mastered. Like I was like, all right, fuck you, game. Like you seem weird and punitive, and I'm not putting up with this shit. I had to keep pushing forward and see, like, okay, can I get my head around this? And then once I did, I started enjoying it.
There was a point in Callisto Protocol where I messaged Brad or talked to Brad and said, I think this is the worst encounter I may have ever played in a recent memory of the game. Right?
I remember this.
I definitely also had 2 or 3 of those. Those ironically would be better with these balance changes they've made.
I bet. Just being able to switch weapons without instantly dying would be
or heal faster. On the other hand, some of those were also like, oh my god, this is terrible. And then I was like, oh wait, I should be using the grip to just throw these enemies off the side.
Yeah, like the tram.
So some of those I had to think my way through a little bit, like that very first one with the giant gears or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it is not a perfect game by any means. It went from being like a top 3 or 4 game to me to like bottom end of the top 10 by the time I finished it.
There's not enough variety in a lot of the stuff too. They make pretty good on the upgrades though. They're meaningful and that feels good. Especially the health upgrades you get.
You definitely feel it when you cash some of the upgrades in, and getting that suit, doubling your health, or doubling your inventory and giving you that big health upgrade all at once was like a real, like, man, I have been putting up with some shit. This feels really good.
I feel like they could have, the story is kind of well-worn territory, like this.
Yeah.
Not too much there.
Lack of payoff in the story is a big part of why it fell down the list for me.
Especially if you're trying to distance yourself a little bit from Dead Space, it really also feels very in the universe.
Especially for, they got some fairly well-known and capable actors for that thing. Like, I really wish there had been a little more material at the end for both for them to sink their teeth into, and also just like, I just needed a little more payoff.
I don't know if I'm looking at this list, and I don't know if there's anything I would swap it out with that's already bolded.
Yeah, I mean, like half of the stuff I would swap out for it, but I mean, it's not just my list, obviously.
Yeah, the only one that, like, the lowest on here are Vampire Survivors and maybe Immortality, maybe Stray for me, but like, I think those games are still, I think those might even be better than Callisto Protocol, and those are Vampire Survivors I haven't put enough time into.
I can tell you what I'd rather play.
Callisto Protocol.
No.
And same with Neon White. Like, Neon White's a hell of a game.
Yeah.
That's another super fun one. Wanted to finish it up. It's fast, entertaining. I also don't know if I would swap it out here, though when it comes to my top 10 list, I might feel differently. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, both of those games will definitely be in a top 10 for me. In a theoretical top 10,
Yeah.
Neon White and Callisto Protocol would both be in there.
Yeah.
But like I wouldn't include Norco or Citizen Sleeper or God of War in that. So clearly different priorities here.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
You just don't know.
I just don't know.
Collective top 10s perhaps are dumb.
They're challenging.
They're definitely hard to do.
Or sometimes they just end up feeling so arbitrary. But anyway.
Should we knock them off for the sake of things that we felt strongly about should be bolded?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I would take those 2 games over half of what's on this list, but I'm not gonna go to the mat for it.
There does have to be a certain amount of mat going in order to get here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm open to unbolding if there's something you feel strongly about.
No, most of the stuff that I'm not passionate about is stuff that is clearly like high on the list for one or both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's like Norco and Citizen Sleeper and God of War. I think everything else on here but those, I've got at least some amount of like, yes, that should be here. Maybe not Horizon, I'm not sure. Stuff that I definitely think should be here: Atari 50, Elden Ring, Grounded, The Quarry, Tunic, Vampire Survivors. Definitely see the arguments for Pentiment, Immortality. Like God of War, Horizon, I could take or leave. Like I could see those being on there.
I really like those. I mean, if once we get into the sorting, they will probably not be on the top half of my list, but I really like those games. I think they're very well done for different reasons. And God of War, like I said, I like the 2018 one better. It doesn't mean that I don't like the 2022 one, but it is, it's going to be on my personal list somewhere. Same with Horizon. But I think all of these things that are bolded could be, again, not Vampire Survivors because I haven't played it, could be on my personal list.
How have you not played Vampire Survivors yet?
I know.
What are you doing?
Game Pass.
I know.
It's like made for you.
I know.
It's also $5.
Immortality I really like, but I don't love it.
It's one that I had to fight to decide whether it was on my top 10 or not. I think it is, but I had to think long and hard about it.
Okay, if that one is that provisional, then I think we should probably cut that one. Because I definitely feel like...
But I might take that over Callisto Protocol is the thing. Like,
what about Neon White?
That's another one that I could also have on my top.
I would take Immortality over both of those personally.
Right, but you're also saying like none of us are even like a lock for that to be in a personal top 10. So like
it will be in my top 10, but like I had to spend a while thinking about it.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. If you're the only one that barely even put it in there, and like let's say I'm fully in the tank for Neon White or something, then
it would not hurt me to not have it on this top 10 list.
I think Neon White is very good and probably deserves to be recognized.
Yeah.
For how well crafted it is and how I keep saying it feels very clever and original, and I'm waiting for somebody to be like, no, there's totally 8 other of these games that you've never heard of.
I still think it's going to get axed in favor of other things.
It feels like something I have not seen exactly before.
I think I might have enjoyed my time with Neon White more than I enjoyed my time with Immortality overall. I think I appreciate what Immortality is doing, but I think entertainment-wise, I think I might have enjoyed... If Immortality had just done a couple of things differently, narratively, I think I would have enjoyed Immortality, and that could have just been my experience since it's so non-linear. But I think I enjoyed my time with Neon White more than Immortality. It's a tough one. I like what Immortality is doing.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter to the discussion, but I extra like the fact that Neon White came from the person who made Donut County.
I mean, that's just weird.
Like those games could not be more different.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome.
Oh man. Yeah. Wait. Do we want to cut Callisto?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it'll be in my top 10. But if you don't feel strongly about it, then I'm not going to argue it onto here.
I like it. It's like too flawed almost just for me at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I felt a bit let down at the end of it.
Yeah, I like compared to these other games that came out swinging. Like, I like Callisto Protocol, but it's almost a begrudging like for it.
I just fucking need more big budget space horror. God damn it.
Yeah, but I would say you're gonna get it. The thing about Callisto that almost it's a good thing, but it's almost a knock against it that they patched out such a drastic gameplay change is kind of telling of where that game was when it came out in terms of testing.
Definitely rough, and I'm not going to say it feels incomplete, but like just for there to be nothing after you finish that game but to dump you back to the title screen with no follow-up of any kind just feels a little weird.
Yeah.
Not optimal.
It's a little bare bones. Yeah, fine, we can cut it.
I think that's a cut I'm okay with, and just in terms of that game. How many games do we have on here? It's not numbered. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 games on here.
Okay, that's doable. We can do this.
So we have to get rid of 5 games on here. All right. This is not I don't want to get into the scientific way, but should we unbold everything at this point and start again, looking anew? Because I feel like I almost just want to bold neon white. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, poor neon white is kind of getting short shrift here.
Let's unbold it all.
Yeah, so, okay, we have the games we have here are Atari 50, Citizen Sleeper, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Grounded, Horizon Forbidden West, Immortality, Neon White, Norco, Pentiment, Spider-Heck, Stray, The Quarry, Tunic, and Vampire Survivors.
Hey, hang on. I'm going to make one quick tweak here.
Okay. Brad has changed it to the top 15 games of 2022. Unordered.
No particular order.
Unordered.
You can't do this.
Here is your top 15 games.
You cannot do this.
Our unordered list, and we are done. What a year. What a season. Yeah, these are great 15 games here. Do we do the bold thing again and see where we end up?
Know.
I don't know either.
All right, here's a question I'll put to you guys.
Yep.
Of the games that are on this list.
Yeah.
And I understand maybe you have not finalized your top 10 lists at this point. So, if that is the case, so be it. What do you think's in your top 3 that's currently on here right now?
In my top 3, well, I haven't done my list yet, but Elden Ring will be in my top 3.
Ballpark it. It doesn't. This is not binding.
Yeah. Elden Ring will be in my top 3 for sure.
Okay. What else?
My top 3. Norco, I think, would be in my top 3.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Norco. Does Horizon make my top 3?
I'm going to say no.
If you're having to think this hard about it,
well, then
that was just based on me being surprised that you would even consider it for your top 3. That seems very middle of the pack based on what you've said about it. But
I mean, I really like it. I don't know if it's doing anything exceptionally new that would push it up there. I'm trying to think. Atari will be on my list somewhere. Spider-Heck will most likely be on my list somewhere. Tunic might be on my list, might not. Like,
wow,
I really like that game, but I got kind of angry towards the end of that game with some of the stuff it did.
Yeah.
Grounded will be on my list.
Yeah, I mean, if we're running this exercise, I can just say very quickly, like, top 3 for me could be any one of Atari 50, Grounded, The Quarry, Vampire Survivors. probably. It's weird to say that, like, on some level, I like Horizon and Tunic enough to put them there, but there are things about them I don't like enough that they're kind of, you know what I mean? It's like I see the word Tunic and I go, fucking yeah, Tunic,
right?
And then yeah, you know.
Alex, what would be on your? I think you've said your top already.
I think I have. I mean, look, Vampire Survivors is number 4 with a bullet, so, you know, it is what it is. But I think my top 3 is Citizen Sleeper, NORCO, Pentiment. Not in that order, but those 3 are in there.
Okay. Let me throw this out for some cuts. See what you guys think. You ready?
I'm listening.
Immortality and Spider-Heck.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. I like Spider-Heck a lot, but it probably doesn't actually make my top 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I also like Spider-Heck a lot, but I haven't played it outside of... Honestly, our streams are kind of my only venue to play it.
That's a game that might make my top 10, but I'm not sure it's going to stick on this one.
And I think Immortality is like my number 10, so it probably doesn't rank here if there isn't anyone else like pushing for it.
I respect it a lot. I didn't actually... I mean, I didn't hate... I started to say I respected it. I didn't enjoy playing it. That sounds way too harsh. Like, I did enjoy playing it, but
you could have enjoyed it more.
We don't need to go through all these games, but I made the mistake of going through it, unlocking too many clips too fast. Like, I was just like, oh man, this is a crazy mechanic. Like, just this kind of game of film telephone, you know, object to object. Like, I'm just going to go clicking like crazy. And the next thing I knew, I had like 50 or 60 clips open and had done no actual thinking about how any of them related to each other. It turned out to be a terrible way to play that game, because then I was like, I don't know where to start with all the stuff I've got now. You know what I mean? Like, working my way back through it and making sense of what I had kind of mostly ignored was kind of overwhelming. Like, I really felt like I should have been more disciplined and like kind of tried to think about what I was doing from the beginning.
Right.
I guess I could have wiped my save and started over. Now that I think about it, that didn't even occur to me. It is very clever and interesting and unique, but I'm fine losing it. I'm fine losing it if you guys are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. So now we only have 3 more to peel out.
Oh boy.
There are some games on here that I can't make the decision for because they're not games I would put on this top 10 list, but you guys feel much more strongly about them.
Yeah, like that's where I'm at with NORCO and Citizen Sleeper as well. Like, maybe we should figure out what are the games that we all think should be here.
I think we all agree Atari 50 should be on here.
Okay.
I think Atari 50 should be on here. Yeah.
All right.
I can get behind that.
Instead of bolding,
I think we all agree that Vampire Survivors should be on here.
Yes, for sure.
I agree as a site that should be on this list. It's maybe not my personal one, but I agree.
And I think we all agree that Elden Ring should be on here.
I agree. Yes. Elden Ring should be on here.
I'd like to think we all agree that NORCO should be on here, but I'm not going to. I would like to hear that from other people.
I have nothing against it. I just didn't play that much of it.
Yeah, I would second the motion, but I understand that I don't think it's a unanimous hands go up immediately.
How about Grounded?
I really like Grounded. You know, I'm okay with that being on my personal list if we want to cut that, because I've just put a ton of time into it personally. And
it narrowly missed my list, but I think that it is rad, and the time we spent together playing it was rad, so I would more than welcome it being on the final top 10 if it came down to it.
Yeah, I don't feel I don't feel super strongly about it being on the site top 10 list. Like, again, it'll be on my personal one. So if it goes, I'm not going to shed too many tears in terms of like everybody has to go play Grounded.
To be clear, I asked that in the sense that, like, we all agree Grounded should be here, right? I thought that one was a lock, honestly.
I'm pretty hot on it. So
yes, as am I. I think that's it's one of the more successful games of the year in terms of what it's trying to do. God of War?
Again, that's one I like, and I don't think it's gonna get the love. If you guys don't want it on here, I think that genuinely is a very good game that has pretty good appeal. But as a
did not do it for
as
me.
a site list. I mean, you guys weren't too hot on the original God of War or 2018 as well, right? Like,
I mean, I liked it fine, but I didn't finish it.
Yeah,
got a good ways into it and kind of burned out on it.
I would say that for me, I was more invested in Horizon than I was God of War this year. But also, I mean, it doesn't have to be either or. It's just that neither of those games really hit for me, and so I don't have a strong push for either of them.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would if I had to pick, which obviously it's not necessarily a binary choice, but I would definitely take Horizon.
Yeah, Horizon's probably gonna be higher on my list.
Okay,
but I still think God of War I could see God of War on this list easily. Like it wouldn't be out of place on this list. I think the Quarry's very good.
That's what I was about to ask about. Does anybody think Quarry doesn't deserve to be here?
I'm not sure that it ranks that high for me. I do really like it, and I do think it is by far the most successful thing Supermassive has put together since Until Dawn. But I think for me, it's a really fun, cool thing. It is not this is one of my favorite things I played all year.
It'll probably make my list. I don't know. I'm going to say that I'm going to have 15 things that'll probably make my list. It's
yeah.
There was a point coming out of those streams when I started playing it myself. I was like, well, fucking the Quarry's my game of the year. Like that has maybe cooled a little bit.
It's a great game.
But it's definitely up there for me.
I don't know if Stray is going to make my list. I know, but Brad, I know you really like it. How
do you feel about it, Alex?
I think the thing I'm running into is that I feel like it should have made my list, and the fact that I'm questioning it makes me think that I think I like a lot of the trimmings of that game. I think the game part is pretty slight.
That's kind of exactly where I'm at with it, actually.
Yeah.
I just like those trimmings enough that it's up there.
The trimmings are really good.
Like, I've really just kind of marinated in some of those environments. I've really enjoyed just roaming around and looking at all that stuff. I think the video game part of it is, like, average at best, I think.
Yeah, it's solid. It does the job.
Yeah, I guess I could go either way on it. I mean, like, the things I like about it are very particular.
I mean, if they had just gotten those cats together at the end, this might be a different conversation.
I think some of the stealth stuff I didn't love. I mean, I guess the mechanical stuff.
I just did that trapping the drones in the jail cells stuff last night when I finished it.
Not my favorite.
And that part was not great.
Yeah. But it's unique. It's novel. Like I want to celebrate that part of it. It's not your big old, burly dude with a gun run around game or big open world collect-a-thon. So I like those parts of it. What are we down to? 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right. 3 to take off. Okay.
Is this do we go around and see which 3 we'd take off?
How? Okay, I'm gonna get another proposal out here.
Okay.
I've got 2.
Okay.
Because I think they might have the least support overall here. God of War and Stray.
I do think those have the least amount of support at this point.
We haven't talked too much about Tunic. Do you guys feel strongly about having Tunic on, or does it feel weird to not have Tunic on?
It kind of does.
Because I'm kind of with you, and it feels weird to not have it on.
Like, Tunic is another one like Stray, where I don't think it's perfect by any means, or there are issues with it, but some of what it's doing is so cool.
Yes, it's one of those things where 80% of my time with Tunic, I kind of loved it, and then 20% was frustrating to me.
Yeah,
sure.
Some of the battles were very frustrating. Some of the puzzles were very frustrating. But it does feel weird to cut it. It feels more weird. In some way, for me, it feels more weird to cut Tunic than to cut God of War.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I could be okay with losing those. If you guys are not into Stray, then it probably doesn't belong.
I like Stray. I did like it a lot. I did enjoy my time with it, but I can't tell you that I've thought that much about it since I finished it.
Yeah, I could see that. I kind of did hope for a tad bit more at the end. I liked the ending, but yeah, I could see God of War and Stray going.
Yeah, God of War. Let me say this about God of War. God of War 2018.
Let me say something.
Let me say something. I think God of War 2018 might be my number one game from 2018. I think it is actually in my top 10 list, or is number one on my list. I'd have to go double check, but I'm pretty sure it's up
yeah,
there.
it was.
And I think God of War Ragnarok is a very, very good one. And I've said this before, but I do think it just misses some of the novelty of God of War 2018. And I think that went a long way for me in Kratos in that new realm. It does a lot of great things with the story. I had a rougher start with it than I did the original 2018, but by the end I had come around and I was way into what they were selling in the combat. It's a little I think weighs itself down a little bit by building on what 2018 did very quickly and giving you a lot very soon in that game of upgrades and mechanics and weapon choices and accessories. So while I think it's a very good game and will be on my top 10 list, it probably will be nearer the bottom just in terms of, hey, you did a fantastic version and follow up to the 2018 God of War. Whereas some of these other games I think are doing more novel and unique things for me this year for the site list, for at least.
Sure. All right.
That's my saying my goodbye to God of War.
Okay.
Listen, I know I only get one Sony first party giant open world game on there, and I think it's going to be Horizon for me to go to bat for.
Well, we have 11 now. It's almost the worst outcome because now we have to settle on the one that's not going to make it. I mean, if I'm looking at this list and it's just like a personal pick, I'm not going to peel Horizon off because I think you guys have a much stronger argument for that game. I think for me, Neon White is probably the weakest one on here for me. I didn't get as into it as other people did, is the thing. Like, I think it was a fair amount of fun. I don't have any of the sort of like anime leanings that game's whole vibe is geared toward. And while I think it is really tightly made, I just did not get into that grind of like trying to beat other people's times or whatever. It just didn't hit for me that way.
God, you had to remind me of the writing.
It is a part of that game.
Some of the writing is like borderline off-putting. I mean, maybe that's the point.
It is the point, I think.
Maybe it's, some of those characters are supposed to be grating, I'm sure, but I did not love all of that aspect of the game. They do make it very easy to just skip through it all, though. If you
yes,
want.
they do.
It's okay, easy to script it. It's not totally skippable. You fast forward. As somebody who has played it twice, or played I had to play the beginning part again, because I think I played it on Switch first, and then I moved over to the PC.
Yeah, I did the same.
I think okay. So up in the air for me, I think I'd put Pentiment, Citizen Sleeper, Tunic, Neon White, and I'm not saying these are things to cut. I'm just saying like I'm a little iffier on Vampire Survivors again because I haven't played it. I like Citizen Sleeper a lot. It's some parts of it I found a little grindy where you're just trying to make money for the next thing, but it didn't bother me that much. These are small nitpicks now that we're talking about trying to figure out one game. Pentiment, I do have problems with the travel and how slow that game can be in terms of getting your ass around to go check every corner. I ran into a couple of non-logical, I wouldn't call them bugs, but things that seem like they should have triggered when they're not triggering. Like, hey, I've talked to this person, you're not acknowledging it. But I like what it's going for. Kind of like what Citizen Sleeper is going for. I kind of appreciate what they're pushing out there. Tunic, I think I've said already. Neon White, it was entertaining. The gameplay part is fun. It's like a fun, fast roller coaster. You know, it's like a thrill ride roller coaster when you're in the gameplay, and that's hard for me to kind of just to push out with some of the other stuff. So
yeah, and it's just so tightly crafted. You know, like just the levels are so well put together to like kind of let you flow through them when you figure them out.
Yeah. So those things I can say are small nitpicks from those other games. The other things on here, I have a harder time finding, thinking about them. Like the Quarry, I know the ending stuff was abrupt and didn't wrap up, but I'm kind of used to that with their games. Like they don't have to come together for me. I just more enjoy the ride in most of those games. Even the lesser Dark Pictures ones, I still just enjoy everything about them. Like I enjoy the ride you take, and I know sometimes they fumble the endings on those games. I'm just kind of used to where those go, especially with the branching paths on them. So the Quarry's a little more solid for me in there. Norco, I think, is just fantastic. Horizon.
Okay, Norco sounds like a lock. I mean, I have no real affection for it. I have nothing against it, but I'm going to star it because it sounds like you guys are...
Norco's pretty special.
Super on board. Out of everything you just rattled off, like Citizen Sleeper is the one I would be least sad to see go. Like I like Pentiment more than I really didn't get into Citizen Sleeper much at all.
Yeah, I like Citizen Sleeper. The writing's very good. It's different than, it's not the same as Norco. They're very different games. Like Citizen Sleeper has a much more, I don't know, sprawling story, let's say. They both take place in kind of closed environments, but Citizen Sleeper feels a little bigger than Norco. And
yeah, I well, not that it matters because I think Norco is a lock. I definitely, what I did play of both of those and have seen of them, like I think Norco is a lot more interesting or more intriguing to me, like off the bat.
What do you guys think for taking off? Alex, do you have any other thing that you would question being on here?
No, Neon White was the only one that I personally hit me. I mean, I think there's an argument, maybe not the Quarry, but also I think I liked the Quarry just a little bit better. So, yeah. Yeah.
I'm staring at this gigantic Google Docs doc.
Yes, it's very large.
My eyes are
starting to glaze over a little.
Okay. We feel good about Tunic. We feel good about Grounded.
Yes.
I know you guys aren't totally in on Horizon. Sounds like there's room for the Quarry, Citizen Sleeper, and Neon White to shuffle around.
Yes. I think Horizon absolutely rates a top 10 spot.
Okay, I think if you two guys believe that, then it should be on there.
I do believe it should be on there.
Then I think that's fair.
I wouldn't take it over a number of other things here, though. Like the Quarry, Grounded. Neon White probably belongs more than, I don't know. Horizon is so iterative and Neon White feels pretty original.
I might. Okay. Man. I haven't finished Pentiment. It's the one I keep staring at on here. Because it's probably the one on here that's left that I have the most issue with in terms of sometimes I feel like I'm fighting my way to get through the game. Like it's the
Interesting.
It's the one that I like. I want to get the story. I want to see what happens. But every time I've sat down to play it, I get a little tired of the checking in with everyone because I feel like I'm going to miss something. And we talked about this before where missing stuff can be part of the experience and the story and not trying for it. It goes against my play style.
Right.
Like if I'm going to because it's got a ticking clock in it, right? You have to move the day forward, and a lot of time, and there are windows in which you can do certain things. So having to be like, you can't do everything, and you can't talk to everyone sometimes doesn't feel great, and I understand that's the point. But I find
it is the point. I can tell you that.
Yes. I don't know. I like what they're doing.
I feel like I'm the only one that really loved that game.
I might love it. I still probably have another. I'm very close, I think. I don't know. It's hard to tell with that game. It feels things are wrapping up. I feel like I'm in the third part of the last part. It's just hard for me to commit on those things. I still want to figure out what, for those who have played it, this is spoiler anyway, but I'll just say I'm up to figuring out what the third painting is I need to do in the third part.
Yes. That's just about where I am too.
Yeah.
In that game.
So like, and it's been interesting figuring out the history of the town and all of that stuff. But I don't know. Like if you were to ask me Pentiment or Neon White, two totally different games that have nothing in common with each other. I don't know. That's just a dumb choice. It's just such a...
That's just the absurdity of the top 10.
It's just so dumb.
It is.
Like, what?
But what would it be?
Well, what would it be?
Which one would it be?
I don't know. Neon White, that gameplay in Neon White's fun.
It really is quite well made.
Tight. It's tight.
Vinny, would you take Pentiment or Citizen Sleeper?
I'd probably take Citizen Sleeper over Pentiment. If I were going to rank them, at this point, again, I haven't finished Pentiment, but at this point, Citizen Sleeper, I'd probably take Citizen Sleeper. Alex, what would you take, Pentiment or Citizen Sleeper?
Pentiment is, if it's my top 10 list as is currently written down in this text file, it is NORCO, Pentiment, Citizen Sleeper, 1, 2, 3.
Interesting. Okay.
Interesting.
But honestly, like, Citizen Sleeper and Pentiment it's another, like, 2A, 2B situation where it's like, it's purely arbitrary. Like, both those games kind of occupy the same space in my head.
I honestly think if Pentiment just had a faster way to get around, like Citizen Sleeper, you can go see everything very quickly. There's no travel in it, really. It's just kind of a menu mostly. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to cut Pentiment, but that's the one I keep looking at.
I also don't want to cut it, but I feel like it's not really even fair for me to choose between like that and Citizen Sleeper because I definitely played more Pentiment than Citizen Sleeper, but
I don't know if
I think Pentiment is more interesting, but again, I don't know that I can really weigh in there effectively.
By the time I got to the end of Citizen Sleeper, which I have finished, I have not quite finished Pentiment, but it would take a pretty bad ending for me to actually sour on the experience I've had with Pentiment. But I think there is an emotional journey in Citizen Sleeper that is really well rendered, and while there are a variety of different endings to that game, the one I got felt like the most natural and most like correct for the way I played my character throughout that story. And I did not feel like I had to do much cajoling to get there. Like, the game's pretty good at, like, messaging, like, hey, this is what this path leads to. This is what this could lead to. And it doesn't really try to juke you out too much. And, I think my time on that station is something I still think back on pretty fondly in terms of, like, all the personalities I met, the things that happened in the story. Pentiment is more, I think, to me, more about the overall complete work, whereas Citizen Sleeper is about the individual stories for me.
Yeah. I mean, Pentiment's scale is very small.
Yes.
For that town. Citizen Sleeper feels broader. Yeah, I don't know.
I would hate to see Pentiment go, but I don't know what I would cut to keep it.
I mean, I already said what I would cut to keep it, so I'm not going to keep harping on
Neon White?
That's just my personal preference.
Yeah.
But I think you guys make completely compelling cases for why it should be on here.
Mm.
Yeah, it feels like it does deserve a spot. Could cut Horizon. I don't love it, but
yeah, I mean, we could have cut Horizon again if we're doing the site list. Like, I really like it. It is more Horizon, you know. It is.
Yeah.
It is a additional Horizon. I think it is a better Horizon in a lot of ways. It is.
I think the upgrade tree and all that stuff got actually a little too unwieldy. Too many bows.
I kind of have
too many skills.
I had a similar problem with God of War. Yeah, like stacked on top of something that was already pretty heavy duty. But I think in terms of the narrative and the flow, I think it felt to me like a better Horizon.
Yeah, that's definitely what kept me going. I mean, I would hate to see it go here. That's not my choice, but I'm just trying to think of anything to do here.
Like, I want to celebrate what Pentiment is, and I do like it.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I also have found it somewhat plotting in spots.
Yeah.
But I also agree that it's really interesting.
Yes.
It feels like it deserves to be recognized. Like, it feels weird to not have it on here, especially with Alex having it so high.
Mm-hmm. You know,
yes.
Yeah.
I was guess maybe we cut Horizon.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't. It feels bad now that you're actually thinking about doing it.
I mean, it's a game I really liked. I spent a lot of time in that world. I think it's a good story. I think
now I'm staring at Horizon and Pentiment and going, Actually,
games that make you go,
I don't know what else to cut.
I could cut Citizen Sleeper as well.
That would be my choice, but I just didn't think that was going to fly here. That is what I think.
I also want to celebrate Citizen Sleeper. Like, I want that to be on this list. I think it is a well done game that transcends the genre. Like, I think it's worth calling out on here. Though if I were ranking it, it wouldn't be near the top of this list. Like it would be, it would kind of move towards the bottom.
Yeah, and like I said, I also don't know that my vote should count for that much there.
All right, let's. All right, how about this, Alex?
Mm-hmm.
No, I know your answer. Okay, forget it.
Wait, you didn't even ask the question.
I know your answer. I was going to say...
Oh, well, I want to know what my answer was.
And your answer is Horizon. If I said if you were going to take Citizen Sleeper, Horizon, or Pentiment, which one would you get?
Yeah, you do in fact know the answer to that
I know
question.
the answer.
Okay, fair enough.
Brad, you would keep Horizon and you would cut Citizen Sleeper, right?
And keep Pentiment?
And keep Pentiment, yeah.
Yes. Of those three, I think Citizen Sleeper is what I would cut.
Okay.
Pentiment is just more out of left field in terms of the setting and the focus to me, or it's just something that you don't see very often in this space.
Okay, should we stop here for a moment?
Mm-hmm.
We have 11 games.
Yes.
We could stop here. We can take a break.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We can come back. We can try and order these 11 games and see what winds up at the bottom here.
That's not the worst idea.
And then,
I think we're really grinding to a halt.
Yeah,
here. Just some other focus would be good.
Yeah,
I agree.
Let's take a break, and then when we get to the bottom, we'll kind of see. We'll have a clearer view of how people feel about what's on this list.
Sure.
Okay, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We're gonna try and order this list, and we're gonna try and get it to 10 games. 10 games.
10 games.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, we are back, and it is time to sort these games. We have 11 games on here. We're going to try and get rid of one. later. But let's start by putting some of these games in an ordered list. An ordered list is so if we go here and I just click this button here. That's what
Letters?
Letters, my God.
What's happening here? Okay.
Nightmare.
This is all gone awry.
Hang on, I got it.
Okay.
Oh, did you have it? No. There. Oh. That's not quite.
See, now we can have it. Now we can have a 10 point.
What is happening?
We can have a 10 and a 10.1.
Oh man, hang on.
We've made a mess.
Here, let me. I'm gonna work with you here, Brad.
Hang on, I got this.
I think you just got to separate it from the top list.
What has happened to this Google Doc? Hang on.
Okay.
Something is wrong here.
Don't wait. If you're listening to this, we're having a couple of technical difficulties. Everything got letters next to it, but now
is this? Oh, well, that's why.
It's part of this top list. We just got to.
I see.
Remove it. Okay, Brad is working on some formatting. There we go. Fantastic. Ordered list.
We did.
There's a heading in there that's going to maybe goof. There we go. Now Brad is pasting stuff back in. He's eliminated every game. Here we go. Your 11 games of the year. There we go.
There.
Okay. Here are the games we have on the list. Atari 50, Citizen Sleeper, Elden Ring, Grounded, Horizon Forbidden West, Neon White, Norco, Pentiment, The Quarry, Tunic. I'm going to say my favorite game on this list is Elden Ring. I would like to see it at number 1.
I started, I don't even necessarily agree, but I started to put it there just as a starting point because it feels appropriate.
I'm going to say Atari 50 is probably going to be in the top 5.
Definitely.
I think that's sensible.
Okay.
Norco is my number 1 game
I
of the
would
year.
put Norco in the top 5 as well.
Actually, I'm going to go the other direction. I feel like Horizon is pretty close to the bottom.
Horizon feels like it was on the bubble.
Yes, that's a bubble game.
Like lower than that, actually.
Pentiment was on the bubble.
Yes.
Neon White was on the bubble.
Yeah.
Vampire Survivors was locked.
Not on the
Vampire
bubble.
Survivors should move back into the top 5.
That's like a top 5 for sure.
I'm going to say now I'm going to read the list now because I feel like we did some good work here. All right. We've got from the top Elden Ring, Vampire 50.
Wait, Norco's still got to go up.
This is just where we're just taking a pause.
Right.
Elden Ring, Atari 50, Vampire Survivors, Citizen Sleeper, Grounded, Norco, The Quarry, Tunic, Pentiment, Neon White, Horizon Forbidden West. Alex, start moving stuff up. What do you want to see move up?
Norco, go up now.
I would take Norco over Grounded.
I think you can put it above Citizen Sleeper for now. I think that's a sensible place to.
We're moving Norco up to the number 4 slot. Brad, how do you feel about where Atari 50 is at number 2? Are you happy with that? Is that too high?
I think that is a fine place. I mean, in some world, I could put that at number 1, but I think that is a fine place for it.
I actually don't mind it there either. Atari 50 is such a unique thing.
It really is.
I'm looking at the bottom here. We've got... I would put... Oh, boy. Okay, we're back in the same mess. I would... Actually, I don't mind what this is, and I'm going to read this off on this list, because personally, I'm not too bad with what is going on here. Elden Ring number 1, Atari 50 at number 2, Vampire Survivors at number 3, Norco at number 4, number 5, Citizen Sleeper, number 6, Grounded, number 7, The Quarry, number 8, Tunic, number 9, Pentiment, number 10, Neon White, and number 11, Horizon Forbidden West. So here are the things that I would say still could shuffle around for me personally on this.
Yes.
Citizen Sleeper could move around. I would probably put Citizen Sleeper lower on the list for me personally. Grounded, I would probably move up. And The Quarry, I'd probably move up. So I'd probably switch, at the very least, I'd move Grounded and The Quarry up above Citizen Sleeper.
I 100% agree with that.
Okay.
I could see it.
Okay.
I mean, it's not the way I would do it, but I could see it.
All right.
Okay. Hear me out before, but I'm not saying we have to do this. There's a part of me that thinks Atari 50 is probably more like a number 4 overall.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that, like, for me, Vampire Survivors and Norco are more significant to me, but I think that's not a fight I want to have. It's more of a feeling that I have.
I don't have many feelings on Vampire Survivors, but if you guys are willing to compromise on it, I would say Vampire Survivors 2 and Atari 3. Just because you guys have talked a lot about Vampire Survivors, and while I think Atari 50 is kind of amazing.
What about Norco 2, Atari 3, Vampire Survivors 4?
I don't know about that. Vampire Survivors to me is a very fun trifle. Like, Atari 50 feels like important work that needed to be done.
Which is why I'm willing to compromise with Atari 50 at 3 and Norco at number 2.
I don't see that. I don't know.
I could see Norco 2 and Atari at 3. I think Norco is great and fantastic. But I also could see Atari 50 at number 2. So it's like,
what about Atari 50 at 2, Norco at 3, Vampire Survivors at 4?
Like that I could live with.
Okay.
I have nothing against Norco, but it also I just have no affection for it. Where
I understand.
Like all of us have at least some affection for Atari 50.
Absolutely.
And I think only 2 of us for for Vampire Survivors.
All right. We've got Elden Ring, Atari 50, Norco, Vampire Survivors, Grounded in the top 5. I feel like this is getting into a pretty decent top 5.
This is looking pretty good to me.
I like how Elden Ring is just sitting at number 1 uncontested.
Listen, if you guys want to fight for Elden Ring...
Like, I mean, there was a world where I didn't keep going out of town right after Elden Ring came out, and I finished it and would be like, fuck you, Elden Ring is number 1. And I'm just not there, but like, it also just feels like, yes, of course it's at number 1. What else would we do?
I super did not beat Elden Ring, and I'm still telling you, it's the most fun I've ever had with one of these games.
I think, for me, Elden Ring is up there in like one of my all-time lists. Like, it is. I don't say that too often. There's this and the Outer Wilds, like recently, but like Elden Ring is for me is pretty up there.
Yeah, I mean, I was gobsmacked by it for the first 20 hours.
Yeah,
before I put it down.
I mean,
I think this list is probably. I mean, I could nitpick. I wouldn't mind Tunic being higher, but also who cares? Like, it's fine. Who cares?
Well, we're supposed to care is the thing. That is the one thing. It's so
arbitrary.
Yeah,
what does it mean?
You're not wrong. It's like,
what does it mean for Tunic to be at number 7 instead of number 8?
It is.
Well, here's what I think all these things mean. Let me try and create some definition for this list, just so that we aren't completely tossing it to the side. I think the games between 8 and 10,
or 11 in this case, but yes.
Well, I'm not sure we're going to stick with an 11, but let's just say, between 8 and 11, these are all games we, at the very bare minimum, all 3 of us admired to some degree. Mm-hmm. Some of it, they hit harder for certain people and more than others. Pentiment was mine. I think you guys hit Neon White pretty hard. We all admired Tunic, though we all had our varying degrees of wanting to finish it. I think all those games make sense in this order. Also, because I think Tunic is the most interesting construction of all 3 of these. And Pentiment, I think, is... Look, I have a burning love for that game and what it's trying to do. It's hype, but both Pentiment and Neon White are going for hyper-specific things. Now, going above that, Citizen Sleeper is a game that you and I, Vinny, liked very much. Didn't really hit for Brad, but, it is also it's a visual novel. It is a game where you are just really reading and making some player choices, but it's great at doing that. The Quarry, I think, it's a game that hit for all 3 of us at a specific time. We had a great time playing it
It's
together.
a very Nextlander group game also that we had a good time going through.
And Grounded was kind of the same way, but you guys got more legs out of Grounded than I think you did The Quarry.
I could agree with that.
Yes.
And in this top 4... are games that all meant a lot to our individual years, and at least 2 of us really enjoyed or loved to some degree.
Sure.
I have given this definition.
Okay, all right. Now,
I have created meaning in this list.
Now, the real question is, where does that leave poor Horizon Forbidden West out in the cold?
I think that just like in the game, Aloy needs to go this one alone and head out into the Forbidden West away from this top 10 list.
It feels so weird to cut Horizon.
Okay, I'm going to just be honest with you.
Yes.
Just dead honest internally. I like Horizon a lot.
This is the longest pause.
I'm going to start talking.
I'm trying.
Like we're getting an alert when we upload this podcast. Like there's dead air in here.
I like
man.
Horizon a lot, and it's going to be on my personal list. I love for a site list these games that are on here. Also, I mean, Elden Ring is also a gigantic game, but Horizon is a gigantic game that doesn't need, to people to point it out as a fantastic big game, right? You know what I mean? This is why I was thinking about how I want to present this. Like,
you're thinking about do these video games need us?
Not even do they need us, because that's unfair. Because if you make a great game and the people that worked on Horizon should have their accolades. Horizon is a sequel to a gigantic budget game. It had all the resources possible. It had every opportunity to be a fantastic game. A lot of the games on here did not have that. Were
that kind of budget, that kind of those kinds of resources.
A lot of them reached a little further than maybe like Neon White, Pentiment, Tunic, Citizen Sleeper, The Quarry, Grounded, Vampire Survivors, Norco, Atari 50. Elden Ring is probably the only one, and it's at number 1 right now. That was another hey, you could put poop in a box and it's gonna sell, but it's not. It's amazing, and
they did.
They super didn't.
Yeah, the Dung Eater is right there.
So I took a long pause because I don't know how to really phrase it. But do you guys know what I'm saying about?
Yeah, no, I definitely get it. I mean,
it's not that it's not ambitious, and it's not that it didn't take chances. It's that it had a lot of resources and opportunity to make sure it is a well-polished Horizon game. And I think, I don't know if it's unfair to pop it off this list because of that, even though it's still a very good game. And I'm not here just to take the context of development into account for every game, but that's just honestly what I'm debating in my head as I'm looking.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, if we genuinely just liked it a lot more than some of these other games, it should absolutely be in there.
Yes, I also
at that point, development factors wouldn't matter. Although I feel like what you just said almost makes even more of an argument to cut it, because even with all those resources, a lot about it is extremely the same as the first game.
Yeah.
Yes.
You are definitely clearing a lot more bandit camps and rappelling off those rappel points in exactly the same way. And you know what I mean? They added a ton. And obviously the story is completely different, but much like God of War, much like a lot of sequels these days, it feels extremely familiar in a lot of ways.
Or I would even say of a particular type of sequel, right? Like these big, massive sequels that can't take too many chances to change the formula because they're building off of such a tremendous base. So I think back to something like The Last of Us Part 2, where it's that was a sequel to another huge game, but also I think went divisively in a kind of different direction.
Yes. Last of Us feels like the odd game out of all these Sony sequels where they feel very much patterned after the first one, like that one. Both gameplay wise, and especially narrative ambition. They actually went for something there that didn't feel like just another one of those.
And some people didn't like it. Some people really, fell off of it. And so I'm trying to think, does that formula play? Or if a game came out next year and it's hey, you kind of use this to knock Horizon off. Could I justify it to myself and be and it's
absolutely. So it's our list. We can do whatever the hell we want.
But I think if Horizon had pushed so far past that I was hey, Horizon needs to be on this list, then it would be different.
Sure. Yes. If this Horizon was to the first one the way The Last of Us Part 2 was to the first one there, I could totally see it. But
yeah,
it's not.
I don't think it quite is. And I think the other things that we have on this list in these spots are things that were bigger question marks before they came out, or were really like fuzzy, and then you had to play them to figure out what the heck this game is going to be. Whereas Horizon, I kind of knew what it was. I really wanted to play it. I still want to play the DLC for it. It doesn't mean it's bad. It just is, you know, in this list where it falls, I could see it being 10.5 or you know, just under the bar. So
I get where you're coming from, and the main impetus to finish it for me is to see how the story plays out. It's not to play more of that game, because I've now, between the first game and this one, have played, God knows, 130 hours of Horizon games or something.
Yeah.
It's to see the story play out. It's not to do more bandit camps and finish more side quests and get more bows. And there are some things, we don't need to get too deep into it. There are things I wish were more improved about it, you know? Like, it came out at the same time as Breath of the Wild, and I really wish they had taken more lessons from, like, the climbing in that, for example. But, like, there's still just massive amounts of terrain in this game you can't really interact with. And some stuff like that. So, I could see it going.
All right. Should we pop it?
Yeah. I think it's, yeah, sure.
No disrespect.
No, I mean, it is the game I'm probably going to go pick up first on the break.
You know, mine might be Dwarf Fortress. Like, now that I think about it.
Next year's going to be weird.
Okay, here's what we have currently in a sorted top 10 list. I'm going to read it from 10 to 1 here. We've got Neon White at number 10. We have Pentiment at number 9. We have Tunic at number 8. We have Citizen Sleeper at number 7. We have The Quarry at number 6. We have Grounded at number 5. We have Vampire Survivors at number 4. We have NORCO at number 3. We have Atari 50 at number 2. And Elden Ring at number 1.
What if NORCO was number 1?
I think this list is perfect. I think
you're right.
I think this list is looking pretty good.
I cannot argue against this list as it exists.
I'm going to say just some surprises on this list. I always felt very strongly about Elden Ring, so personally, I'm glad to see it there. I'm surprised Grounded is this high on this list.
I thought it would be higher, honestly.
Okay. I mean, I put a lot of time into Grounded, but I thought it was going to be a very personal thing again. I'm glad to see Vampire Survivors. I'm not that surprised Atari 50 is that high on this list, though it probably won't be that high on my personal list. But I definitely, for a Nextlander list, I see it on there. It makes sense to me.
Cops are coming. Yeah. Our list is illegal. We've made it. We've done crimes.
I think we should commit to this list.
Yep, I'm good.
I have nothing but respect for this list.
The only thing that bums me out is I don't know why Google Docs doesn't have an easy way to invert the sort. I would like to do it from 10 to 1, but I'm not going to write it on this list. Is there an easy way to invert the sort?
There possibly.
Okay.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Maybe next year we'll
While
figure that
you work on that, I'm going to run down what our other stuff was from this year as a recap for this list. We started off with best storytelling. That was the winners on there were NORCO. That was my pick and Alex's pick, and Atari 50. Maybe a flash forward to what's going to happen in the top 10. NORCO and Atari 50 on the best storytelling. We had my personal list, which was, my personal category, which was Vinny's FMV and or point and click adventure games that are for cool people. And those were The Quarry, Immortality, The Centennial Case of Shijima Story, The Dark Pictures Anthology, The Devil in Me, Excavation of Bahab's Barrow, Return to Monkey Island, NORCO, and Not for Broadcast. Don't sleep on Not for Broadcast. It's 1.0 this year. We had best game we came back to. This was a game we revisited throughout 2022. It might have come out in 21, might have been in early access, might have had DLC, but we all agreed that coming back to Grounded in 2022 was the best game we could have spent our time coming back to. That was a unanimous Alex, Vinny, Brad pick. We had Brad's personal category, which was the Hard Game Club with Rogue Legacy 2, Vampire Survivors, Hyper Demon, Neon White, Cuphead's DLC, that's the delicious last course, the Callisto Protocol, and an amended entry, which was the Lobby of Spider Heck, which may take the cake on that one.
A late comer, but the winner.
We had Best Look, which is all things visual, with my pick, Elden Ring, Brad's pick, Tunic, and Alex's pick, NORCO. We had Alex's personal category, which was music, Citizen Sleeper soundtrack, NORCO, Vampire Survivors, Elden Ring, Metal Hellsinger, and Tunic, with a special call out for Citizen Sleeper and Vampire Survivors. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And then finally, not finally. There's two more. Hold on.
Wait, did you say Citizen Sleeper or NORCO?
I said Citizen Sleeper. What did you say?
Sorry, I meant NORCO.
Sorry.
NORCO and Vampire Survivors.
Special call out to NORCO and Vampire Survivors on music. Most Insidious Time Sink, the game that was the black hole for time, not necessarily in a bad way, but the hours disappeared.
Not in a healthy way.
The hours disappeared into it. Alex picked Marvel Snap. I picked Elden Ring, and Brad picked Grounded. Our last non-consensus category, game we most wish had come out this year. Again, understanding development schedules and all the troubles that have come out and why delays happen.
Yes.
These are games we're just excited to play and can't wait to get our hands on for next year or whenever they come out. Arc Raiders for Brad, Kerbal Space Program 2 for Vinny, Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp for Alex. Finally, taking a breath. Nextlander's top 10 games of 2022 by consensus decree in enumerated order here, starting from 10, Neon White at number 10. Number 9, Pentiments. Number 8, Tunic. Number 7, Citizen Sleeper. Number 6, The Quarry. Number 5, Grounded. Number 4, Vampire Survivors. Number 3, NORCO. Number 2, Atari 50, the Anniversary Collection. Number 1, Elden Ring. I want to say congratulations to everything that was considered in this year's Game of the Year making. Doesn't mean they are bad games. If they were cut, we for some reason had to make 10.
Except for the bad ones.
Except for the bad ones. All right. Woo! We've done it.
What a season. What a season.
We have put together our list. We will have personal lists at some point as we kind of figure out how those fall. Going through this process always makes me rethink what I'm thinking about for a personal list.
We're going to do them. They will be text lists. They will appear on the Patreon page. We think they will probably post the week we get back.
Yeah, there is some stuff I want to finish Pentiment before I make my personal list. The week off gives us a chance to finish up some stuff we might not have time for, so it's nice to be able to post those later on. So yeah, when we'll come back and everybody's like, this game should be a number 1, don't blame us. We just played more games. That's what we do. When we have time off, we play games. You guys ready to wrap this up?
I think so.
Okay. Anything else about this? You think we'll do another top 10 ordered consensus list in the future?
I'm not sure.
I don't have an issue with that idea. I think they're fun as long as you accept that they are inherently arbitrary.
Yeah.
But I gave the most context any top 10 list I have ever been a part of has ever had.
That's fair. That's true.
It's true. It's fun playing video games. It's fun talking about video games. That's going to do it. It's been a fantastic year. I want to thank everybody for supporting us and joining us over 2022. I want to thank our mods for handling stuff on the Discord and being in chats and Twitch and all over the place. I want to thank all the people who've participated in fun conversations, who've reached out to us throughout the year. Again, part of our community and helping us out and the whole business. The big thank you to everyone. We'll be back in 2023. Of course, you can go over to patreon.com/Nextlander to find all of the stuff you might have missed throughout the year, the stuff that's on different levels of the Patreon, all of that business. We have our Twitch channel, our YouTube channel. You can go see everything else there while we are off for the week. Go catch up. There's going to be a quiz when we come back on everything. Whew. I don't know.
What a year, gentlemen.
It's like hard to close this. It's always hard to close these. It's like the last. Yeah. It's the last thing we're gonna do. So
here's to an even better 2023.
Here's to an even better 2023. Here's to an even better 2023.
Whoa!
If you keep saying it, it keeps gaining esteem.
Look at all those.
Sorry. On the video version, I clicked over to the games that have 2023 dates on them.
Oh, well, no, we can't do all that now.
Nope.
I gotta go eat dinner, man.
Go. We have a whole separate podcast.
Yes, stay tuned for the Planorama coming in January. All right, thanks Alex, thanks Brad, thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you,
once again, and we will be back next year with more Nextlander. See ya. Thanks, everybody, for listening to this year's Game of the Year content. I want to thank everyone again for supporting us. And of course, it is time to thank our mysterious benefactors, starting with Vornak, Tyler Treese, Trevor and Adrian R., Thomas Lynn, Steve Lynn, Statics, Skywarp, Sean Miller, Robert Fisher, Raz Grizz, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, Randy Duax, Peter Reardon, Michael Jonathan Black, Matthew Herrig, Matt Clements Jr., Mark Wilhelm, Kevin Vallado, Kelly F., John Richardson, John McInnes, John Hubbard, Jerry Lee, James Smith, Jad Rita, JM, It's Me JP, Gary Pejsky, Evan Cook, Edward Cheek, David Campos, Bunny Thorpe Stay Healthy Crimes, Brian Lucier, Brian Murphy, Brad's Midsize Voodoo You Do, Andrew Tiebkin, Andrew Slosky, Andrew Jackson, and Alex Wu. Those are in alphabetical order this week. I made it a little more challenging. I hope everybody had a good time. Stay safe out there. Thanks for listening and supporting again, and we'll be back in the new year. See ya.